watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the day street. Well, the markets have been extremely volatile from the word go, and even now if you see the markets, especially the benchmark indices, the Nifty and the Sensex have been gyrating between the gains and the losses. 20 points lower right now at around 22,457 is where the Nifty is hovering at. It's the Nifty bank that's trying to hold itself above the flat line at 48,955. But among the sectors, if you look at the sector that's really supporting the markets and stemming or kind of not letting the markets really fall is the IT index. That's up by over 1% and it's been holding on to those gains. But what is the key reason why the markets are falling or not really performing in today? Two key reasons. India wicks 14% higher in trade today, and very extreme volatile move is what you've been seeing. So very choppiness, choppy kind of a trade is what you spot on the markets throughout the day today. Apart from this, it's the PSU stocks that are dragging the markets lower in trade today. So look at the PSE index. You will spot that about 4% kind of a loss that we see on an intraday basis on the Nifty CPSE. Even right now, it's up. It's down by about almost close to a 3%. And it's the PSU Banks that's also dragging about 3.6% lower in trade. These are the key sectors that are actually dragging the sentiments lower. Media index is down by 2%. Metals down by 0.7%, financial services down 0.7% as well. And apart from this, some of the other sectors like consumer durables, those are the ones, that index is also down by about 2.4% odd, and the oil and gas space, that's also down by 1.4% odd. So it's a heavy sell-off that's coming in on some of the sectors that's weighing on the markets in trade today. Apart from this, when we look at the top movers in trade, you do spot like names like Britannia that are still doing very well in the markets right now, and 6.5% kind of a very strong move comes in after the earnings. Kotak Mahindra Bank again a very strong move after the earnings, 5% high in trade, and it's again the IT space stock that are holding the limelight today. So TCS, Infosys, you have ACL Tech, Wipro, LTI Mindtree, Tech Mahindra. These are the kind of stocks that are actually supporting the markets as well. Let's welcome our guest on the show. We have Prashant Tapsi with us from Meta Equities. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for taking the time out. How are you doing? And do tell us what do you make of the kind of markets, the move that we are seeing?
I think the mood is in line with the market volatility. Every day there are like 100 points up and down. But today was a surprise by RBI headlines, which is imposing some extra restrictions to the power companies, financing companies, which is keeping this mood very down for the PSU banks as well as some of the PSU companies like RSC and RCF. So this is the mood what market is not tracking it. But overall, the overall trend in the Nifty is almost positive. A close below 22,350 would be negative on the markets on technical basis. Rest we are in the positive zone.
Okay, let's try to dig in a little deeper now to find out how should one be really looking at the positives as well as the negatives. Britannia, first stock for you. Earnings were good, but the kind of move that we have seen is kind of a very strong move, especially on a day when the markets are very volatile. 6.7% higher right now at 5,064. How would you look at this one?
So this was a surprise for markets. Markets were overall expecting a below street estimated numbers in terms of volume growth. But yes, the company managed to give it very better. And I think it is going opposite to the market expectations. And the way how the stock has reacted today at 6% high, I think it's a good way to book profit at these levels because the earnings are more surprise. And I think we should book profit at these levels.
Okay, one should book profits at these levels. The other one was, of course, Kotak Mahindra Bank. Very good earnings, and therefore we've seen brokerage houses upgrading the stock as well. Some expecting about a 30% potential upside. We have seen about a 5% move in trade today. Of course, this stock was under pressure the entire last week, 10 days odd after the regulatory actions, but it seems to have come back and proven its worth as far as the earnings and fundamentals are concerned. But at 1623, would you be comfortable buying the stock?
Yes, it was an opportunity when RBI imposes that all the negative news on the headlines. But if you see at the valuation level, 2.x the book value for Kotak Bank, it's a blind go and buy. I think yesterday the management also declared a very clear statement that they are going to invest a lot of money into the IT infrastructure, and that is giving them the boost. And a lot of brokerages obviously have upgraded the stock. I think 1600 level, 650, 1650 level would be a good level for a long-term investors. And as I think, again, a target of 1800 can be seen in 8 months to 12 months period.
Okay, got that. Apart from this, it's the one index that I want to talk about, which is trading at record highs, and that is the Nifty Realty Index. A very strong move in trade today, despite all the volatility and the overall concerns in the markets. Several stocks over here shining bright. Godrej Properties topping the charts, and this is after the earnings and brokerage houses upgrades coming in on this one. And 10.5% kind of a move. It's days high kind of a move that we are seeing on Godrej Properties. And apart from this, Brigade Enterprises is another one that's doing very well at this point in time. And the kind of move that we are seeing is to the tune of almost 7.5, now 8.5, 9% high again at the day's high level. Oberoi Realty, Sobha, you name it, several of the stocks you will find which are actually trading very, very sharply higher in trade today. What do you make of the kind of move that we are seeing across the board in the real estate space, sir? And where exactly would you keep your focus?
I think again, Godrej Properties was under some pressure due to the family dispute. That was a great opportunity to get into these kind of businesses where Godrej is a best in class brand which will never give negative rewarding to the shareholders. That was a great opportunity, and there was some reports also for 2100 target on the same day when family dispute was out. But yes, again with the way how they have recorded the highest sales in terms of their Q4 earnings, and as per the guidance for the next financial year, this company can do more no more great things going forward. I think in this again, I like Oberoi Realty better because the way how Brigade and Godrej have moved. Oberoi is still, I think there is a still upside limit left out to be taken care. So I think if anybody is invested in Godrej, a book profits at these levels again as a trading opportunity, and Oberoi would be an opportunity where we can still have a 5-10% upside momentum due coming few weeks.
Okay, understood that. But the pain point today, like I said, it's the PSU space that's dragging across the board, be it the power producers, be it defense majors, be it shipping stocks, metals, mining stocks, power stocks, the across the board railway stocks, they're all facing losses. And PSU Banks, of course, the index is also down heavily in trade. Let's cater to this in two different parts. One, PSU Banks. How are you looking at this dip at this point in time? We've seen a stupendous rally unfold in the PSU Banks. Would you look at this as an attractive buy on dip opportunity in the PSU Bank story? And if yes, then which are the top stocks that come to your mind?
I think yes, it's an opportunity. The way how no we lost opportunity in Godrej Properties or any other stocks. This is a great opportunity where RBI has surprisingly given some restriction that will be benefiting for a new shareholders to get into the stock. Bank of Baroda and PNB Bank are the two stocks which we like in this space. SBI obviously it has moved well and has come down to 806, 807 levels, and we have a results due this weekend. So I think I'm positive on all three: SBI, PNB Bank, and Bank of Baroda. Three are on my counter to my clients.
Okay, got that. So those are the particular stocks that you are watching out for. But the entire PSU space, Prashant, why I ask you this is that it's during the election theme, the PSU stocks is something that everybody has been buying big in. Now, these dips, how are you looking? And again, within the PSU pack, where exactly would you find opportunity if you have to buy?
I think power and the banking sector two space where I should be betting more on. But again, the earnings are earnings are supporting the price earning growth, and the growth is still yet to come. The new government will obviously focus a lot of things in the first 100 days, and PSU would be a sector one should focus on. So I think we should not miss this opportunity.
Okay, got that. Some of the earnings that are coming in, let me just look at some of those earnings, important earnings. CG Power is one earnings that have just come in, and, just about a while back. And we did see that for the January to March quarter on a consolidated basis, CG Power has posted a net profit of 234 crores. And the revenue has, this is of course, however, it's fallen. When we look at the last year, same quarter, it was 426 odd crores and the profit has fallen. Again, for the revenue front, there has been an increase from 1900 odd crore rupees to 2192 odd crore rupees for this quarter. How are you looking at CG Power? This stock was in focus purely because of the kind of lucrative opportunities that were about to fall into its radar as far as the solar opportunities are concerned. I remember the time when Prime Minister Modi indicated that he is looking at a vision of 1 crore households with rooftop solar projects, and this is one company that probably was seen as a positive, a company that will be able to reap this benefit. How are you looking? Earnings have disappointed. Would you still buy?
I think, but due to the earnings just reported just now, I think there should be a profit booking attempt going forward. The stock has already rallied from 450 levels to almost 550 levels, and there would be a good profit booking attempt at these levels again. My target would be again 500 levels, which would be a good level to buy back again CG Power, the story on the solar power. But right now, I'm not a buyer on this stock.
Okay, right now you're not a buyer on this one. Let's again look at some of the stocks that are actually doing well in the F&O space. Alchem Laboratories, Deepak Nitrite is another one that's been actually holding on to its gains right from the morning trade as well. Deepak Nitrite has brought the limelight back into the chemical space, and of course this is after the earnings that we've seen, the kind of move that we are seeing on Deepak Nitrite. How would you look at the entire chemical space, Prashant, right now, and within that Deepak Nitrite, does it look positive even on the charts?
I think yes, when we consider this chemical as a sector, the last 2-3 quarters, the chemical segment were not doing so good. I think Q4 earnings have given a U turn to the trend of margin as well as the growth in terms of top line. Deepak Nitrite being the top 5 company in the chemical segment, I think I'm still a buyer on the sector as well as on the stock for long term. For me, a stock which can do nearly 750 levels, 2,500 levels going forward for a few months. I think I am positive on this. Again, Lakshmi Chemicals would also be a second best stock one should look at to invest in chemical sector.
Okay, got that. So that's the view on the entire chemical space. But it's clearly turned out to be an IT kind of a day as well, Prashant. We've seen heavyweight IT stocks really come back in flavor. Stocks like TCS, HCL Tech, Infosys, and even LTI Mindtree, Tech Mahindra, the second rung of the large cap names as well. How are you looking at the IT space? We've seen earnings were not very enthusiastic for most of them. Even the guidance shared by most of these companies was subdued for FY25. So everybody does know that when we talk about next 1 or 2 quarters, the pain could still persist. Margins could still be under pressure till the time there is because the management commentaries also were not very encouraging. They all had been pointing out to uncertainties still around, and them not showing any kind of positive commentaries on that, even though they continue to believe in the growth of the companies. But after a long haul of underperformance, when we are seeing this kind of a move, do you see this as a green shoot? Do you see this as a positive indication that one should start building on their positions now?
I think yes, one should look at adding the IT stocks for a long-term investment right now. As you said, rightly said, the next 2 quarters would not be so great for IT industries. But yes, market has already discounted those 2 quarters subdued earnings into these prices right now. If you look at even the US market, again, US market is very much stable to positive right now. And even the US VIX is almost 52 weeks low. When we compare with Indian VIX and in US VIX, we are trading totally opposite to the levels. We are trading at 52-week high and they are trading almost 52-week low. So I think there is a very soft momentum and a positive side in the US market, and I think that is giving a lot of positivity for the IT industry, and Indian markets are discounting that.
Okay, let me just focus on a few earnings, and I wanted to discuss Titan with you. The stock is down by about 7% after the earnings. We've seen even the brokerage houses give mixed reviews after the earnings. There was disappointment clearly on the margin front, and I did speak to the management also earlier in the day today. And even though the management is confident of growing the business and they were happy about the business growth per se, but they have pointed out to 2 key reasons: high prices of gold and heightened competition, which has given some compressed the margins as of now, and the margins could be lower for the next 1 to 2 quarters before they see them growing to 12% odd or so. How would you really look at this company?
I think the one point which you said on the competition, I do totally agree on that. But market was not giving that kind of pressure to the stock. They were always bullish on the stock for long-term basis. But I think the way markets management has decided to say next 2 quarters will be very, very much flat in terms of volume as well in terms of margins. That is getting discounted in the price. I think if you see the stock can come down up to 3,000 levels in short term, and that would be a level one should look at investing for a long-term investor. So until it crosses 3,000 level, I am not so bullish on the stock.
Okay, got that. But when we're talking about the consumption trends, it's the consumption space. Let's focus on that one, and we will discuss it in two different factors. One, the FMCG space, and the other one will be consumer durables. Let's focus on FMCG. Most of these stocks are showing some green ticks. Britannia, of course, after the earnings that we've discussed, but even Nestle, HUL, Marico, these are the stocks that are higher in trade today. Of course, FMCG has been the worst performer in terms of the index and individual stocks over the last 1 year, 1.5 years odd. Some of them have actually not moved the needle even in the last 3 to 4 years, talking about bigger names like even HUL. But most of them are actually coming to day's high today. So Colgate is up at a day's high. How are you looking at some of the momentum here, and does it give you any opportunity to buy into some?
I think yes, the street expectation on the volume side was almost like 1 to 4%. But the latest numbers, whichever the Britannia and Dabur have given, there was a growth of more than 4% in terms of volume, which was a surprise for the market. And I think Dabur would be a stock one should look at for investing at these levels. HUL, I'm still not comfortable at these levels. Again, a 2100, 2150 would be a level one should look at for HUL to add back to the portfolio. For me, Dabur would be a stock one should look for starting accumulating these levels.
Okay, got that. So those are the particular stocks where you're bullish on right now. How about, within the earnings, Avenue Supermarts, how did you assess the earnings of this one too? Looking at the kind of move that, the stock has been a big wealth creator of the past, but it has been consolidating for a fairly long time. What are the indications? Is it going to be coming out of that consolidation zone anytime soon, or is it still going to be lying low?
I think the surprise was from the margin growth, which was due for the stock from quarter on quarter. They have first time after last 3 4 quarters, the margins have improved in the EBITDA basis. Plus, they are aggressively going for a lot of expansion, and every year they're adding a lot of the new offices or new stores in the pan India. I think stock is still awaited for a good consolidation level. It may not cross even 5,000 level going forward for next 1 year. And at the down level again, 4,000, 4,200 would be a level one should wait for to buy back the stock for a long-term investor. But I am very much positive on the business segment. If they can prove themselves in terms of growing their margins to the above 9 levels, so that would be a wait and watch for me.
Okay, understood. Apart from this, like I said, we will also discuss on consumer durables as a key trend. Today, the index is sharply lower. But if we look at the last 15 days or 20 days or a month kind of a move, there were many stocks that were actually riding on hopes of higher demand coming in with heat wave conditions, summer onset earlier, temperatures soaring high. These were the indications that the Met was also giving. And probably this led to a sharper move across the board. We saw stocks like Voltas, Blue Star, Havells, all of them in the thick of action over the last 1 month odd. Why suddenly the pressure are we seeing here, and how do you see this entire sector moving forward from here? Any stocks that you can highlight?
I think the sector is in a good trend right now. The demand is high and the supply is still a constant, and I think that can be managed by getting a lot of margin to the company EBITDA levels. But yes, in terms of prices, I think there will be a good profit booking attempt at these levels. The way how Voltas has rallied from last 1 month from 1,000 rupees to 1,500 rupees odd number. So I think there would be a profit booking attempt. For me, these valuations are almost at the peak levels. Whatever the industry heat wave data is coming out, I think the volumes have been almost discounted to that now. And next 3 months again, the heat wave will go down and the volumes will be stabilized to the older subdued levels. So I think one should look at booking profit at these levels. Right now, I'm not bullish on any of the stock in this counter.
Okay, understood. Let's again focus on some more sectors. There are some stocks from the capital goods space that are finding some kind of move in the F&O space, like ABB India or maybe a Siemens, for example. These are the stocks that are showing some buzz in trade. We have been seeing consensus build around capital goods, around manufacturing space to outperform the markets, as a theme or a sector clearly. How are you looking at this space currently, and where would you look for value?
I think yes, manufacturing as a theme, India is still up to look for a lot of upside going forward in next 2-3 years. And ABB, Siemens, and these companies will obviously benefit with these activities. I think the results are due for ABB, and the stock can do really good. 7,200 would be a level one should look for booking profits. But yes, the stock has already moved from last 5 days to the level with like 7,000 plus. So we are positive on ABB and Siemens, but again, not a fresh buy at these levels. We are waiting for the numbers to see and then go ahead how to buy it at what level.
Okay. The other sector that I wanted to discuss with you is the entire pharma and the healthcare space. We have been seeing some of the other stocks individually take a move, but it's no sectoral kind of a theme really coming back in full force as of now. How are you looking at the pharma space? We have seen some of the earnings come about, some are remaining. Where do you see the space headed?
The numbers and earnings are not so great from last few days. But yes, again, every alternate day we are seeing some US FDA norms which are hitting the manufacturing unit with some lot of observations. So the trend is very mixed. But overall, again, the long-term trend would be positive. But short-term trend for next 1 quarter, 2 quarter, I think pharma would be again still performing subdued and neutral. So I am not so positive on pharma right now.
Okay. You know, we were discussing about the FMCG space, and Marico has come out with its earnings. 320 crore rupees of a profit is what we see on this one. And there was an expectation that 337 or thereabouts could be the profit. So from the estimates, it's lower. When we look at the EBITDA figures, EBITDA figure has come in at 442 crores. This is nearly in line with the estimates. 445 odd crore rupees was the estimate of the street. Revenue has come in at 2,278 crores as far as Marico's Q4 earnings are concerned. Again, this is absolutely in line with expectations. And how are you looking at these prima facie numbers? I'm still waiting for the volume growth figure, and the margins have come in at 19.4%. 19.6% was the large street estimates. As far as the stock is concerned, it's gaining slight strength, about 3% higher right now on Marico.
I think any close above 530 level would be a great opportunity to get another 20-25 rupees momentum in Marico. But yes, again, the margins are flat, and I think the volume growth should be better than the last few quarters. 4 to 5% should be the expected numbers, which we are waiting for the number. But I think again, 550 would be a level the stock can rally due to this stable and neutral margin growth, and that can be possible for next 20 rupees momentum from these levels.
Okay. Profit any which ways has improved from last year of about 305 crores to 320 odd crores. So some improvement has been seen as far as the profitability figure is concerned. Even versus last year's revenue, 2240 crores was reported revenue of the last year, but this time it has come in at 2278 crores. So slight improvement on both the top line and the bottom line, and even the EBITDA figures. And the margins have improved from 17.5% last year to 19.4% this year. So that's an improvement again, although from the expectations, it's slightly below as far as the street estimates are concerned. The stock is hovering around 2.8 odd percent. Still waiting for the figure as far as the volumes are concerned. I will give that to you as we continue to track the earning momentum. But for now, that's as far as the Marico earnings are concerned. Let's again look at some of the other moving parts in the markets and see in the broadest index, if we look at some stocks that could be seen as positive today. Very rare stocks, Brigade Enterprises we've already discussed. Rainbow Children's Medicare, pharma and healthcare is something that we were discussing. Amidst that and amidst the hospital space, is this stock looking positive to you? 7.5% higher in trade today. A very strong move can be seen on this one, and it's been building onto its strength over the last few days. It has been constantly gaining ground. How do you look at this one?
Which stock? Apollo or?
Rainbow Children's Medicare. It's right now trading around 1575, and currently there is a 7.6% up move.
I think it's almost like 52-week high near to the stock. I have not seen the earnings yet, but yes, the stock is really good. I think a lot of PMS kind of investors have invested in the stock. Overall, the trend is very positive, but yes, I'm not buyer at these levels. 1560, 1570 would not be a right level to buy. But the right level to buy would be for me again 1480 and 1500 would be a level to enter into the stock. But right now, I'm not able to give it on a fundamental basis.
Okay, got that. Well, we also have our other guest now joining in. I think Ruchit Jain has now joined in. He's the lead research analyst at Pipa Research. Ruchit, good afternoon to you. Do tell us, how are you looking at 10 minutes to go for the markets? Any BTST trades, and what strategies would you recommend for our viewers?
Yeah, hi, very good afternoon. Well, we think that the markets are going through some consolidation phase on the index front. We can see that 22,300 would be acting as a very good support on any kind of decline. And 22,700, 22,800 has been witnessing, we have seen selling pressure over there. Now, India VIX have risen sharply and market breadth is negative. This clearly indicates that whatever corrective phases are going on, it's more of a stock specific correction which is going on in the market. So we are very selective now from a short-term trading perspective. I think maybe till the election results are out in the first week of June, no such volatility is expected to continue. So if 22,300 breaks, then only we expect some index-wise correction. Otherwise, this would be more a stock-specific correction. No, and index would trade within a range. So defensive space, I think, in such times, could do well. Defensive in the sense, stocks from certain stocks from IT, certain stocks from FMCG, they can see some positive momentum because they have been underperformers of late, and we have already seen a corrective phase in them. So I think, if one has to go long for BTSTF from a very short-term trading perspective, then FMCG counters could be there, on the list. HUL is looking good, and even Marico or Dabur is looking good. Dabur can be bought, if one has to take a trading recommendation. Then Dabur can be bought at current levels with stop loss below 520 for potential targets around 550.
Okay, so there you have it. Second vote of confidence coming in on Dabur after Prashant also gave his buy call on this one as well in the FMCG space. Prashant, would you also have any BTST trades to recommend to our viewers?
I think Tata Motors would be a stock. I'm waiting for the numbers as well as the growth. Tata Motors would be a stock one should look for BTST again with a target of 1040 and a stop loss of almost 1,000 rupees at these levels.
Okay. Ruchit, what would be the key strategy for tomorrow? How do you see the Nifty and the Nifty Bank really pan out? Today, of course, we did see some pressure built up on the private banking space, barring Kotak Mahindra Bank that continues to rise after the earnings. How do you see both the indices moving?
So I won't recommend taking any overnight trades in the index because, as we said, indices may go through some time-wise correction where sector-specific rotation is possible. If no banking or any other heavyweights, such as we witnessed some sharp correction in the PSU names today, but momentum could shift towards selective IT and some pharma names or even FMCG names. So I think index would be trading in a very narrow range. 22,300 to 350. This is where the major support range for short-term supports are placed. So in case if we see any dip towards that range, 22,350 to 300, then risk-reward ratio would be favorable because from there stop losses would be small to take any contra buy trades.
Okay, understood that. Now, you're saying that the PSU space was definitely under pressure. Would you be keen to buy the dip, or would you let the dust settle as of now as far as the PSU move is concerned, Rujit?
So if one is looking from a mid to long term perspective, then I think certainly one should look to buy the dip. It's just one day of a correction that we have seen today, and the index has rallied in last 1.5 months from 8,500 to almost 10,300. So some more dip is possible towards the 40 days exponential moving average in the index, which is around 9,500 odd levels. We are right now around 10,000. So another 500 points of odd correction in the Nifty PSE index is possible in the near term. So, in case if you get such dip, then at lower levels, one should definitely, go along on the PSE basket, from a bit midterm perspective.
Okay, but what about the outperformers like REC, PFC? They've had a stupendous run up, but today they're correcting about 8, 9%, 10% odd. Would somebody looking to buy this dip, should one really take an entry here, or more dips could be seen?
So one thing is sure that when the markets are witnessing some kind of volatility, then those stocks have already seen a good run up. Stocks which you just mentioned, REC, PFC. You look last 2 weeks, they have already seen a very good run up. So one should not rule out any kind of profit booking over there. So I think REC, if you get any dip towards 470, 480, the risk reward ratio would turn again favorable over there. So it's a one day of a dip, but if you compare this 7-8% dip which we have seen today, to the recent run up, then I think still the stocks have not completely retraced the previous uptrend. So if this dip does not change the broader trend, but I think just a correction within an uptrend, if we get some more dip towards that support level which I just mentioned, then certainly REC, PFC, stocks can be looked about into.
Okay, understood that. What about Blue Dart? That's really doing very well in this kind of a market, and a strong move of 7.5% can be seen on this one. First to you, Prashant, and then to Ruchit to share their views on Blue Dart as of now. As far as the share prices are concerned of Blue Dart, we've actually seen that the last 5 days it's already moved up 15.5%. Last 1 month the stock is up by 21% odd, and when we look at the last 1 year perspective, again a 26% of a surge can be seen, but last 1 month move is substantial with the kind of rally that we've seen of 20 odd percent. How would you look at Blue Dart? Can it still continue with its upward run?
I think it is all because of the Q4 earnings and the final commentary from the management. I think the sector is doing good, the stock is doing good, the margins are getting better and better going forward every quarter on quarter. So that is getting discounted in the price. But at these levels, 7,200, I'm not going to be a great buyer on this. But again, 6,500 would be a level one should wait for and again accumulate this stock for long term. But short term, I think there would be a good profit booking attempt at these levels.
Okay. How about you, Ruchit? What would you say on this one, Blue Dart?
The stock has already seen a decent corrective phase in last 1 year. If you see at the start of January, the stock was trading around 7,200 level. And even now, after this recent pullback in last 2 trading sessions, the stock is still trading around those levels only. So last 1.5 year, we have not seen any kind of trended move in Blue Dart. But yes, in this correction, the stock has formed a very strong support base around 5,500, where in May 2023, the stock formed a bottom around that 5,500 mark. Even recently in the month of March, the stock formed a low of around 5,500. So this clearly seems that the price-wise corrective phase is over for the stock. Of 1.5 years of corrective phase was there. And now we might see some time-wise correction phase. So in this time-wise correction, 7,700 would be the major resistance, which is the higher end of this entire range in which it is traded, and 6,000, 6,200 could be the range where a higher bottom, in case if we dip that could has been formed over there. So buy and dip approach should be kept for the stock. Any existing long positions, if anyone is looking from a bit mid to long term perspective, then I think since the corrective phase is over, it's better to hold on to existing long positions. But fresh buying should be done on any kind of declines.
Understood. One more earnings towards the fag end of the trade today. GHCL, the net profit here has slipped by 50% and has come in at 125 crores versus 250 crores earlier. The EBITDA has fallen by 47% as well to 185 crores from 348 crore rupees a year ago. The stock has reacted sharply towards the downside. Almost 3% of a dip can be seen. Margins have come off sharply from a year ago period. From 31% odd, it slipped to 22.4% on GHCL. So across the board, we do see some earnings disappointment coming in on this stock, and therefore you see a sharp downtick on this stock. Do you track this, Prashant, and could you tell us your view after the earnings on this?
I think that the stock will go under selling pressure today. I think today or tomorrow. The stock can land up to 460, 470 levels due to the disappointment in the earnings. I'm not tracking this as a fundamental, but yes, technically it shows that there will be a lot of selling pressure going forward.
Okay, understood. One last question to Ruchit. As far as the real estate space is concerned, I had asked top bets from Prashant, but from you as well, because this space continued to outshine the markets in trade today with a kind of stellar move across the board. Godrej Properties led it for sure, but it was seen across even the mid-cap IT space like Britannia, Brigade Enterprises, Sobha, Oberoi, a whole host of these names, Prestige Estates, DLF, of course, from the large caps. Again, all of these space stocks were definitely rallying in trade. Where do you see it headed?
So I think if we see all the stocks within the sector, it's been more of a stock specific move which is going on. Certain stocks such as Sobha is there, Prestige is there. They are outperforming the other counters, and I think such outperformance could continue if the real estate space moves higher. So I think both Sobha as well as Prestige, even Brigade, if I add it, then the stocks have seen a consolidation breakout and they can do well. But since the stock has already rallied today, so I would say that in case if anyone is looking for entering fresh positions, then the quantum of buying, the quantity which had should be buying should be low over here. So one can look to buy selective real estate names which have been outperforming, but not at one go. No, maybe 40 to 50% buying should be done at current levels, and in case if we get any minor dip, then there should be some place to average at lower levels.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Prashant and Ruchit, for being with us on the show and sharing all these insights into the markets. Time to wrap up the trade. 16 points lower is what the Nifty is ending the trade with, 22,459. The Nifty Bank managed to eke out just about 0.03% of gains, or a 14-point uptick in trade today. But the mid caps fell about 0.5% odd in trade. And across the board, Nifty, Sensex both dipped in trade again. And just slight positives coming in on the Nifty Bank. On the heavyweights front, as far as Titans is concerned, that was a top loser for sure in trade today after the earnings disappointed. But apart from this, there were several other stocks that continued to outperform. Among the top movers were Britannia, Kotak Mahindra Bank, TCS, HUL, M&M, LTI Mindtree and Sun Pharma as the top movers as far as the gainers are concerned on the Nifty. On the losing side, like I pointed out, Titan led the show as far as the drag move is concerned, 7% lower. Adani Enterprises, Coal India, BPCL, SBI, Adani Ports, NTPC and HDFC Life Insurance were some of the other losers in trade today. Among the top movers as far as the F&O action is concerned, Godrej Properties topped the charts, 10.7% higher in trade. Britannia followed, 7.9% up. Alchem Laboratories up by 5.5%. Deepak Nitrite about 5% higher. Kotak Mahindra Bank and Siemens were the other big movers. On the downside, PFC, REC, Titan, Punjab National Bank, BHEL, Canara Bank. So PSU Banks, PSU Stocks, heavyweight capital goods majors and the power financiers were the big drags in the markets today. We'll wrap it up at that, but do stay tuned on to Business Today Television as we continue to get you all the action even beyond the stock markets on your screens.
A sea of saffron,